Hello, everyone. My name is Randy Anderson. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Modexus, and this is an exciting event today. We are growing. We're growing in North America. We're growing in markets around the world. And as many of you know, our focus is building this company on leadership, product, compensation, and an amazing culture. But the reason for this event today is an exciting announcement. We're going to focus in on the leadership and product side of things. We are committed to building the very best products, targeted holistic nutrition that is a do no harm philosophy. The products are creating results. I absolutely love everything we're doing with our product lineup, and your success stories for those of you that are using Modexus products tells everything. So as we continue to educate and train on our existing products and look at new product additions to bring into the lineup, it's really important that we expand our wisdom base, expand our product research council, and there's no better time to do that than right now. So I'm excited about this announcement. That it's easy to get a little tongue-tied because if I could have drawn this up in the beginning of Modexus, I couldn't have drawn up better. It's an answer to prayer to be able to do this announcement today. And with that, I'm not going to do the announcement. We're adding to our product research council, and I think it's only appropriate that we bring in Dr. Charles Rouse. He is the founder of the Modexus Product Research Council. And Dr. Rouse, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Randy, and it's a blessing to be a part of the Modexus family. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you being the founder of our Product Research Council. You've done amazing work, and I know you're going to continue along that same path because we'll look at the lives that are being changed. But it was a good time to add a third member. Currently, we have Dr. Dina Hackett in Sarasota, Florida. Dr. Dina couldn't be with us today, but we certainly appreciate her contributions. She is on the clinical side of things and gives us incredible feedback, especially from a female perspective. And we certainly appreciate Dr. Hackett. Want to give a shout out to her. But I think it's only appropriate that our newest member of the Modexus Product Research Council, that you're the one to introduce him. You guys have worked together for several years in the past. With that, I'm going to just do a kind of a screen left here. We've got Mr. Potter running things behind the scenes, and we're going to let you take it from here. So Dr. Rouse, the floor is yours.
Hello, Modexus, and let me tell you something. Randy was right. Our knowledge base doubles every 12 months. So this natural medicine is just phenomenal. It's growing with such leaps and bounds. And Dr. Charlie was very blessed to have Dr. Dina Hackett say yes to Modexus. But today I'm going to introduce you to number 3. And you know, a three-cord rope is a whole lot stronger. And we're about to build the strongest natural medicine product research council that could ever be put together. And I thank you, Randy, for allowing us to do this. My favorite fella, he's a pharmacist, a graduate of the University of Alberta School of Pharmacy. He's from Canada. And up in Canada, we have a great affection because our flagship product, the Lanacera Longevity, has a berry in there called Lanacera. And that berry is grown right up there in British Columbia, Vancouver. So everybody, let's welcome Dr. Alan Ogden. He's our buddy. Hey, Alan.
Oh, Dr. Charlie, it's so good to see you again, and to anticipate how we can bring this together. And like you said, I am a pharmacist, and I spent a lot of time in that particular arena. You may remember that in Alberta, in that particular school, when I took pharmacy, it was pharmaceutical sciences. So pharmacy today is the study of drugs and basically how drugs work. They come out of the schools now, they're drug therapy experts. when I graduated from the University of Alberta, we studied pharmacognosy. And I know that's a term that you're familiar with. We were the last class actually to study pharmacognosy, which was the use of plants as medicine, which was, of course, the origin of medicine in the first place. And so I was forever grateful for that opportunity to study pharmacognosy. I was a member of the American Society of Pharmacognosy for many years, keeping up with the plant research as I practiced pharmacy. After I graduated from the School of Pharmacy, I became a community pharmacist, and I realized that a lot of my clientele was the aging population. So I went back to school, University of Denver, and took geriatric pharmacy, which is a very interesting application of pharmaceuticals. It was so interesting, as a matter of fact, that I then decided to take pediatric pharmacy. And amazingly enough, the practice of pediatrics and geriatrics are very similar, although infants are very small and require small amounts of drugs. Geriatrics have slower metabolisms. They have a lot of things that have changed in the number of years they've been around, and actually drugs have very similar activity in those patients, and they're often overprescribed medication. So that led me to go into a lot of research, and a personal experience of mine also helped me to really go back to the pharmacognosy part of my training and go, look, what is there out there that we're missing as practitioners that we could maybe contribute to both the doctors and to our clientele that would help them understand how to better manage their life and actually enjoy a higher quality of life if we could just educate them on, some of these herbs, some of these vitamins, some of these things that they've been known forever, but they just got lost in the rush to create pharmaceuticals. A pill for every ill, I believe, was the sort of the standard methodology back in the late 60s, early 70s, and continued very strongly until just recently.
Hey, Modexus family, I want you to know that Alan is broad spectrum in his education, and that's Alan and I have been personal friends for a decade and longer. And when Janice and I sit down with him at supper, and sometimes it's an hour long, we just talk about what's next, what's new, what can we do, and we're just delighted that Alan is willing to be a part of the Modexus family, because he already has the research and he already has the other stuff that we've been looking for. You just heard him. He said that this industry's expanded. He's already got a lot of research, and he's willing and already has committed himself to bring it on to our family. So now, between Dr. Charlie, Dr. Dina, and Dr. Allen, we're going to put together some amazing new products that are just going to blow you away. But in the meantime, Alan, I know that you've looked at us as a company, Modexus, and you're one of the glutathione experts in the world. You know that. They turn to you for information on glutathione. What do you think about Lana-Cera longevity? Just in that one product alone, on a daily dose, we're putting over 1,000 good usable milligrams of a bioavailable form of glutathione into the human body. You think that's good?
Well, I think that's good. That's an amazing question. Thank you for the compliment. I was fortunate, Charlie, because of the research that I was doing. I was invited in 2018 and again in 2020 to attend the World Symposium on Glutathione Research. Both of them were held in New York, and I got to, sit back and listen to these people that have devoted their lives to researching this one particular molecule. And you mentioned 1,000 milligrams. And what's interesting about that is all of these doctors that were there and talking about that, they were saying that the research indicates that we, as we age, we don't lose our glutathione. We lose our ability to recycle our glutathione, and we lose about a gram of that. So 1,000 milligrams is a gram. 1,000 milligram, that is 1 gram. Out of our glutathione stores, we lose that over a period of time, and that period of time is different depending on our lifestyle. But that is a totally magic number. That 1,000 milligrams is an absolutely magic number. There's at least 42 clinical trials that I'm aware of that indicate that if we could encourage the production or reproduction of about 1,000 milligrams of glutathione in our body on a daily basis, we would be keeping our glutathione at the optimum level. So this is a product that is exactly made like it should be made, is doing exactly the job it should be doing. Now, the other thing I want to say about longevity is this. If you're a person who exercises, really a lot, you're a high intensity exercise person, or if you have an extra stressful lifestyle, there might be some out there that have that these days. I'm not really sure. If they listen to the news, they probably do. I would say that's probably the biggest source of stress for most people right now, is just listening to the news. But if you do, there's a reaction that goes on in our body which actually interrupts that recycling process of glutathione again. It's an imbalance in the hormones, etc., which we can talk about in a minute. But so if you're in that case, you can safely take 2 doses of longevity in a day, and it will be like magic to you if you do that. So if you're a person who's exercising intensely, if you have a high stress environment, taking 2 doses is completely safe, because glutathione is genetically controlled. You cannot overproduce in your body. You can't overproduce it, but we can sure encourage it to be the optimum level. And that's exactly the purpose behind longevity. And I really do appreciate the design of this product, the thought that went into it, and it's the exact dose that we need to be working with.
Hey, thank you, Alan. We appreciate that compliment. Dr. Dina, she helps us in our women's health in amazing ways. And we just brought to the market the new product Rhythm. And she has actually, with patients, PMS, premenopause, menopause, perimenopause, she's finding that one product, Rhythm, was workable with all these great ladies. So you think y'all have some women up there in Canada that could use a good product like Rhythm?
I was so thrilled to see that product. Just recently, I got my certification as a DNA consultant. So a lot of people wouldn't have any idea what that is. But recently, Chris Hemsworth, who is a fairly well-known actor, was surprised when they gave him his DNA profile and a risk factor for the development of Alzheimer's disease. And one of the things that I've found just in the last year of doing genetic consulting is there is I'm just trying to word this correctly, but I would say the pervasiveness of women who are living a lifestyle that does not lead to the adequate modulation and use of their hormones is really underestimated. And so to have this product that goes in and modulates the estrogen level, make sure that it is, I'm going to say smoothed out. I'm going to use that word because that maybe makes it more, yes, it makes it more understandable for people. Modulation might be too a complicated word, but it just keeps it in the range that it should be, and make sure that your estrogen that you do have is being used for the proper process instead of being converted into a product that we can't use. It is a much needed product, and it really, every woman should be on this product. There's not even a question.
I agree that the 16-hydroxy estrogen that Alan's talking about is the negative. It's the one that causes all the damage. Now, I know that you were like me when we had pharmacies, we owned pharmacies and had to fill a lot of prescription drugs. Probably every customer that went out asked or got off of our shelves something for pain, an ibuprofen or a acetaminophen. Acetaminophen's liver toxic. Ibuprofen is detrimental to the cartilage. But aren't you glad that in natural medicine, with all the research, they've come everywhere from glucosamine to MSM to CBD, all kinds of things. And then here we came along with a new product, the Relieve, and we were able to take the power of garlic, the power of horse nettles, of horsetail, of nettles, and the beautiful celery, mixed them together, and we had a perfect solution for meeting everybody's inflammation and pain threshold. So if you personally haven't tried Relieve yet, Alan, you get a hold of a couple of them and then pass the word on, because we want Canada to know here comes Relieve for any kind of pain.
Well, I want to contribute to that a little bit as well, Charlie, because in my studies, we started looking at angiogenesis, big word. So let's break angiogenesis down. Angiogenesis is the process of making and removing blood vessels. So it's a process that goes on in our body at all times. One of the great challenges when we are battling, say, a disease like cancer or some of the other very chronic ailments is this angiogenesis imbalance. So, for instance, cancer cells put a great demand on the body to produce blood vessels to feed them. They steal the body's glutathione. They steal the glutathione out of healthy cells, which is another reason why longevity is a fabulous product. But angiogenesis is actually at the root of a lot of these inflammatory type diseases. Right. And the ingredients that you just mentioned happen to be, in pharmacognosy, happen to be products that increase angiogenesis. In other words, they help your body not only build new blood vessels, but they make sure that they're not being built in a way that they're damaging to the body, like we have in some of these inflammatory conditions. So when you have constant inflammation, say in your joints or say in your muscles, so if you have a rheumatic condition or something like that, you're producing these blood vessels that are contributing, they're actually contributing to the pain. And I think that's one of the reasons why Relieve is such a great product, is it helps to control or bring back to a normal type of methodology for producing and reducing the blood vessel in our tissues. And it brings it back to normal. And why is that important? Well, as we age, and activity, generally we associate aging with lack of mobility. Our skin gets a little different, but usually it's lack of mobility, just lack of not feeling good. And one of the things that can help that, of course, is increasing the amount of blood flow we have to all of our body. And so Relieve not only has ingredients in there that will reduce pain, I think one of its biggest components is influencing this angiogenesis. So taking it over a period of time, people will notice a significant difference if they have a chronic pain condition going on.
See, I told you, Modexus, we're blessed to have Alan on board. His brain is when Alan and Charlie get together, it's like, oh, just give us the day, because we just go on and on and on and on. And we love you, Alan. We appreciate you coming our way. All right. Well, what about LIFT, L-I-F-T? We found that everybody wants to be smarter and get rid of brain fog, and nobody wants to go down that pathway to senility, but we all want to be vibrant. We want to be flexible. We want to have energy to get the work done. We want every student to be a better student. And we found, Alan, that we can give lift to our children and they pay attention in school. We can give lift to our grandmothers and they're like spry and vital. And I said, we got something here. And what we did, we took choline, GPC, just a natural medicine that came out of research from people who had brain injuries, put it in our energizer with the ATP and other formulations. And the name itself, lift your spirits, lift your mood, lift your energy, just speaks volumes. So if you hadn't tried that, I'm going to encourage you to take a couple of those every morning like Dr. Charlie does and make a brighter, sunshiny day.
Yeah, that's true. So one of the things that I really appreciated about the lift was the alpha GCP. There's a lot of, I'm going to say just misleading information, not intentionally, misleading information about what happens to us as we age. How does dementia creep in? How does Alzheimer's creep in? How does Parkinson's creep in? How does it creep up on us? And there's a lot of theories about that. But recently, some of the research that we've been doing centers on choline and getting choline. It's a very difficult thing to get that to our brain and get the other ingredients that help our brain stay healthy, help it keep functioning. And here's the other thing that we discovered in our research. We have a separate immune system which is designed just for our brain. So we have an overall immune system for our body, but in our brain we have its own immune system, and it's there because our brain never quits working. I mean, there's parts of our body that never quit working, but we can rest our muscles, we can rest certain parts of our body, but our brain never goes to sleep. And so it's constantly needing nourishment. So, with the lack of sleep that most people are experiencing, it's tragic in America that people are sleeping pills are the second most prescribed drug at the moment. That's just tragic. That's due to stress and tranquility. I'm sure we're going to talk about it next. Is going to help us with that. But just in that itself, we're finding that what we think leads to dementia is actually the inability to get nutrients to this separate immune system that is going to ensure that our neurons stay healthy. They're a separate entity unto themselves. A neuron is a separate entity unto itself. And there was a belief for many, many years that if you were brain damaged, and I'm one of those people that suffered a brain injury, that you just, there was no hope for your brain to recover to any particular extent. And that's still the thought with, Parkinson's, with Alzheimer's. Now we're discovering, no, that's not true. If we can get the proper nutrition, we can have a dramatic effect on PTSD. We can have a dramatic effect on autism. We can have a dramatic effect on these tragic sort of brain situations that we're dealing with. But it all boils down to having the ingredients that are proper for what's going on in this separate immune system. And that's what I saw in Lift right away. There's some anhydrous caffeine in there, and people might question, well, why anhydrous caffeine? Well, the purpose for that, in my view, you might want to contribute to this, Charlie, but in my view, is to open the blood vessels to get these ingredients exactly to where they need to be so that they can do the job that they do. And I really have fallen in love with the Lift product. I think that, taken along with the longevity, is going to contribute to people's cognitive health in a great way. And now's the time to start. Treatment is not the place to start. Prevention is the place to start. And that's what this is about.
An ounce of prevention is a whole lot better than a pound of cure. Alan's a pharmacist, Charlie's a pharmacist, and the number 2 killer in the world today is prescription drugs, properly taken and correctly dispensed. The number 2 killer, cardiovascular and now prescription drugs ahead of cancer. So you can see some of the reasons why Dr. Charlie and Alan take an immeasurable interest in natural medicine, pharmacognosy. And in our pharmacognosy journal, we've learned a lot about plants. And there's one flower out there called a chrysanthemum, the chrysanthemum, that is spectacular in relieving stress and anxiety from the body, which means you sleep better, blood pressure better, less anxious, less anxiety, that kind of thing. But as I was looking, Alan, I started studying, if God made one flower, the chrysanthemum, I wonder how many others. And out of 200 different flowers that I studied, 7 in particular with chrysanthemum, honeysuckle, those kind of nutritions, we were able to bring it into one product. We call it Tranquility, and it does just that. It relieves the cortisol stress of the body, which means better blood pressure, better sleep, less anxiety. So what do you think about that from a pharmacognosy perspective?
Well, I have a very interesting, I hope you find it interesting story. So when I was a young lad, I was out with my grandma and we were just walking around on her farm. I wasn't raised on a farm, but my grandma still had the farm. And we're out walking around, and my grandma stopped to pick some flowers and a couple of other plants. I was too young really to remember what they were. And she said to me, you know, you're kind of high strung and you're kind of, and I was. It was just a few months after the death of my father. I lost my father when I was 5. So I was, unfortunately, anxious and nervous and a little bit. And so my grandma actually picked these flowers, and she kind of, she put something with it that she picked as well. And she kind of made this gum. And she said, now I want you to just chew this gum. And you'll feel better. And by golly, I did. So chrysanthemum was one of those flowers that she chose. And I'm not sure. I think there was a little mint with that as well. And there was a couple of other flowers. And so I said to her, Grandma, like, that's amazing. How do you know these things? And she said, well, that's all we had. We just had our garden. We had to use our garden as our medicine. And so when I saw Tranquility, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. Here I am back, many, many years ago, 60 years ago, with my grandma out in the field using these flowers to do exactly, calm yourself down. They do work. They're beautiful. I want to say something else about cortisol levels. When our cortisol is up, our insulin is up. It drags our insulin up. When our insulin's up, we can't lose weight. We tend to gain weight. When our insulin is up, it leads to metabolic disease. There's a lot of downstream effects from not controlling your cortisol or not being able to control your stress. And Tranquility, honestly, is I shouldn't say it's my favorite, but just from my personal perspective, I use Tranquility every day. Longevity, Tranquility, I use them every day. They're just because, like you say, in our practice, what we get in our practice is we get all these downstream things that people are now dealing with because they didn't take an ounce of prevention. They didn't know to do that, or they didn't believe they needed to do that. And now we're trying to, give them a pill or potion, lotion, something that will ease their pain, strain, etc. Nature had these answers all along, and we chose to ignore that. And so I was delighted to see Tranquility, the formula for Tranquility. It's a beautiful formula. It's excellent. You can take it anytime. One of the questions I got asked from somebody was, well, if I take Tranquility in the middle of the day, am I going to fall asleep? And I said, well, very doubtful. If you do, there's something else we need to check. no, you will just feel, wow, okay, life is better. I'm kind of in control. And that's exactly what I felt. I really love Tranquility. It's a product for our time because, if we look at, you mentioned heart disease. Well, why is heart disease the #1 killer? And we could say, oh, it's our diets or this or it's that. But, they did a huge study, the nurses study, which I know you'd be aware of in the United States, 89,000 nurses in this study. And what they were looking at is why these sort of people who were taking good care of themselves, eating as good as they could, getting exercise, but they couldn't attribute almost half of the cardiovascular events to diet, to smoking, to drinking, to any of the sort of usual things that cardiovascular disease is contributed to. And they had to say it's stress. It's literally stress. So when you talk about it being a #1 killer, well, 50% of those deaths are actually due to just people not being able to have in their hands something that can help them relieve that stress. And that's exactly what Tranquility is for. I love this product. It's a great product. And thank you for creating it.
All right, Modexus, aren't we excited? Alan Ogden is part of our family, the Product Research Council. And let me tell you, Dr. Dina, Alan, and Charlie, we're already on to it. We've got some new and exciting things, and they are in the making. So you pray for us, and we look forward to hearing from Randy and his excitement soon. And Randy, we say to you, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for blessing us and giving us Randy, who showed us the way to give us the Dinas and the Allens and the Charlies. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Back to Randy.
There we go. I'm back. It helps to unmute there because I muted. I didn't want to mess up any of that conversation. I don't need to say a whole lot. Dr. Charlie, thank you for those kind words. I appreciate it. And, for any of you that have listened all the way through to this presentation, I don't need to say a whole lot. We are so blessed. I've been around this industry now for going on 30 years. I've had the great fortune to be around some brilliant minds in the nutritional industry, the field of holistic medicine. But I'm here to tell you that with Dr. Charlie, Dr. Allen, Dr. Dina, the three of them combined, you will not find three better people anywhere in the industry. And we are so blessed. And Dr. Rouse is right. There are things that are underway. I know Alan's, he's already contributing so much, and I'm just so excited. Alan, we got to make this go faster. I'm ready to go. So listen, guys, we are so blessed. And Alan, welcome to Modexus. Welcome to the Product Research Council. Guys, if you have listened to this and you're feeling the excitement and you're seeing what we're developing here from a leadership standpoint, from a Product Research Council leadership standpoint, and you haven't heard of Modexus, or maybe you've had your toe in the water and you're just kind of watching to see what we're going to do, I want to encourage you, reach out to us. It's time to lock arms with us and help us take our message, take our vision, not just across North America, but around the world. We're looking for good people that want to join us and help us get the word out and change a lot of lives. So Modexus.com, you can go there and connect with us, or if you want to, send us an email at support@Modexus.com. We'd love to hear from you. I think it's time, if you've been sitting on the fence and you're watching, success leaves clues. We've got a tremendous base in place, and we're ready to see some of that just incredible growth over the course of the next few weeks, months, years. We're going to be here for a long time. So guys, thank you very much. Excellent presentation. I was scribbling notes, note after note after note. And I know that everyone that's already here at Modexus, they're going to love what they hear. So that's all for now. Until next time, guys, everyone stay healthy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.